Feels like it's been a long time since we've had an opportunity to watch Orange County play, but the last time they did play, last Wednesday, we were victorious at home and now sitting pretty with a good opportunity to make the playoffs. I'm excited, and it looks like we're peaking at the right time. Hopefully, my co-host tonight will agree with me on that. Let's get into this. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora, and I'm going to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Helping me out for this episode, we've got the man, Dylan. Dylan, how are we doing?
Apparently, I'm just the man now, but I'm doing well. I'm still riding the high of Wednesday night's result.
All right. I just, last time when I called you like the originator or something like that, you got a little upset about it. So I didn't want to go there. So I just said the man. Let's bring on the man that knows how to throw a party. That's Mr. Larry. Larry, how are we doing?
I am doing fantastic, but please keep in mind, I had nothing to do with that party except showing up. That was all her over there. She did the party, not me. But thank you. I am happy to be here. Excited to talk some OCSC soccer for last week and this week.
Just take credit for it, Larry. I mean, take some credit for it. I mean, you're part of it.
Nope.
Last, helping me out this episode, we've got Mr. Brad. Brad, how are we doing?
I'm doing well, and I got a joke for you. What do you get when you add Dylan's hair and Larry's beard?
Billard.
Mr. Snuffleupagus from.
This would have been a lot better if you didn't just absolutely roast the punchline.
Yeah, I trampled.
I'll tell you what.
We'll move on.
Go all the way back to the beginning of the show. Andy, turn everything off. Let's reintroduce Ray, and let's just try it all again, shall we?
I guess I should have just gone with Brad's suggestion and say, hey, what are you drinking tonight? But hey, we've got some soccer to talk about, specifically Orange County Soccer Club soccer. If you can recall, going way back to Wednesday, Orange County was victorious at home against Colorado Springs, a team on the standings that's doing better than Orange County, but we talked about it last week, missing a few key players on international duty. And I'm going to say this now, and I apologize if I upset anyone, if I, curse the team on this, but we're seeing remnants of what happened in the championship season where Orange County was playing strong defense down the stretch and winning games, regardless of how the play went. And that's what I'm seeing from Orange County. And that's what they did this week. Or this past match against Colorado Springs, 1-0 at home, right? Or am I incorrect? 2-0 at home, right? 2-0. I forgot a late goal from Ethan Zubak. But the defense is gelling at the perfect time. Coach Danny Stone seems to be having the team playing great defense. Dylan, hey, don't get mad at me. I was there. I was at the match. I remembered. I didn't need y'all to tell me. Dylan, what were your thoughts on this match? Let's just get into this.
I'm really happy with this result from Orange County. Just everything I'm hearing is we're really worried about other teams, but the only thing that we can actually control is, how we perform for 90 or 95 minutes every week. Short rest, pretty much unchanged squad. This went really well. I liked seeing Ashish a little bit further up the pitch than we've seen for a lot of the year, and I really like watching him be able to take some shots. I think we basically played to our strengths here. I think it happened to help that Colorado, played into that as well. And obviously, when you go up, I think we've talked about this before. Just put the ball in the box and something will happen. Hey, great. They score an own goal early on, and we get to sit down and control things. And the last few weeks, I think I've talked a lot about Orange County just has to do well each game. And that bodes well for the playoffs. We went up a goal, and we didn't panic to try and get a second one. We didn't completely shut down and just start sitting back to try and keep them from scoring. We were just smart about the moments that we picked. And finally, Ethan Zubak was able to put that one to bed. But, a well-deserved performance all around. And nothing makes me happier than Orange County native Justin Dillon doing one for us by getting himself sent off for a reason nobody still knows why.
Yeah, that's still a mystery at this point. Nothing on camera from what we could see from the stream. Nothing that we could see from the stadium, at least from our vantage point over. Dylan and myself were over at the CLC. I don't know if Larry was anywhere closer to what happened on that, but hey, I will take it. There's been times where Orange County has gotten a red card and it's caused trouble and for the team. And hey, Orange County was able to capitalize on that, get an own goal, which was nice, and then get a second goal late in the match, just seal the victory. I'm just excited about seeing the way the defense is gelling at this point. Again, the championship in 2021 was defense. It was all about defense, and the defense is playing great right now. Larry, what were your thoughts on this match? And what are you seeing? Like, obviously, we were talking about it about a month ago with all the returning players from injury. And now these players have gotten some time under the belt. Are we seeing them start? Are they gelling, back to where you'd expect them to be if they had been playing together all season?
I don't know if they're quite there yet, but the team is definitely looking better. I mean, the one loss under Danny Stone so far in 6 games, undefeated in the last 5. You don't have to win pretty all the time. And this wasn't a pretty win by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and address this. Shots on goal. Orange County Soccer Club has and Tony Mercadante, this is specifically for you. Orange County is number 2 in the league in converting their shots on goal. Yes, we are the lowest amount of shots on goal in the league, but we have the second best conversion rate, which means this team is taking quality shots. Listen, Milan Iloski led the world in shots last year because Milan Iloski is a shooter. That's what he does. We don't have Milan Iloski this year. So at the end of the day, you're right. A win is a win, nothing more, nothing less. How we win doesn't matter. When we ran the playoff table in 2021, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, in the 3 playoff games, we scored 2 goals, I believe, 2. I could be wrong there. And then we scored 3 in the championship. We are not a powerhouse goal-scoring team. That's not who Orange County is. Okay, we are a defensive-minded club. Ever since 2018, we have since the end of the 2018 season, this team seems to have been a defensive-minded club, and defense wins championships. That's all I'm going to say there.
Well, and go back to 2021. I believe 2 of our 3 matches to make it to the championship went into PK shootouts
Yes.
because they were tight defensive contests between teams and
0-0 and 1-1 games.
I've said this. I've said this in the past. The beautiful thing with this sport, and it's one of the few professional sports that you can do this, is you could be the lesser of 2 teams on the pitch the whole match. But if you don't concede a goal, you can get lucky. You can score a goal. You get the 3 points in that match. And that's the beautiful thing with soccer is it's chess compared to some other sports where they're just checkers. There's a lot more behind it than just go score goals, go score goals, go score goals. Just don't concede a goal, get lucky. That's all you need. That's all you need in this. And that's what Orange County has been able to figure out. And I'm loving the defense that the team
Absolutely.
is playing. Coach Danny Stone has brought in some confidence with this team. I talked to Marcus Nakim after the match, and he talked about the confidence that Coach Danny Stone has brought to this team. The team is playing with confidence. They're playing their style. And he even mentioned that they know that their team and their roster is scary. If they can get into the playoffs, it'll be interesting. Brad, your thoughts on this performance from Orange County against Colorado Springs last Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered it. This was a defensive masterclass. We only needed, I think, one save, and gosh, it was a great save towards the end of the first half from Shuttler. That was the only shot on goal the Switchbacks had. Now, given a lot of what the Switchbacks were doing was down a man the whole game with the whole second half, but there's no complaining. This is a team above us in the standings at home in a must-win situation. And sure, we didn't put a shot on goal the entire first half. We still got a goal, Sometimes it's you just put the ball in the middle of the box and you let the cards go where they are. And if the ball ends up in the back of the net, who cares? We're winning a game that we need to win. We're still toting that playoff line with a game in hand and two big games this week that we need to get to talk about soon too.
Well, and I'm going to say this because our producer has the standings up on the screen right now in the Western Conference. There's only a couple teams that have 3 green boxes in their most 5 recent matches, Orange County being one of them. And I believe there's only a couple teams that have no red showing. And again, Orange County is one of those teams on there. The beautiful thing with US soccer, I know it's different from the rest of the world, is playoffs. You just need to make it into the playoffs. And because, like I said earlier, the beautiful thing with soccer is anything can happen on any night, regardless of how well you're playing or how poor you're playing. You get in there, you figure out how to scrap some goals or scrap a goal, and you're doing great, right? And I think that's where I love the position that Orange County's in right now. They're one of the better formed teams right now in the Western Conference, and that's going to come into play. And the beautiful thing is too, you look at some of the top teams in the West, they're not having to do what Orange County is doing right now. Orange County is already in playoff mode soccer. They're in a mode where they know they have to win if they want to have a good chance of making the playoffs. And they've been doing that, either wins or draws. They're getting results in every match, unlike some other teams. And that is playoff soccer right there. If you can get results, even if it's the dirtiest, ugliest of results, we're getting that. And this was beautiful against Colorado Springs. I'm a defensive coach. I'm a defensive. I love defensive soccer, and I would prefer we don't give up any goals and we get scrappy goals over blowing anyone out any day. And that's just me. I know other people would prefer 10 goals a match from Orange County, but that's not sustainable. Dylan, is there anything that you saw from this match against Colorado Springs that worries you heading into the final 3 of the season?
Everybody's that's not involved in the playing or the technical staff, their insistence on worrying about what everybody else is doing. Because again, it wasn't that long ago that we suffered the worst loss in club history. And it wasn't that long ago that it looked like we might never score again. And now we are doing that. We are patient. And clearly that's not a very popular idea. We are patient. We try and find clear-cut opportunities. We convert those. But look, this doesn't work if everybody bails on the team if we start to play poorly again. This only works because everybody gets behind the team. How did we win in 2021? Defensive stuff, and then the team playing well, but everybody in the stands getting behind the team for a nice deep cup run and a 3-1 win in Tampa.
And the beautiful thing with the run up, the end of the season here, right, is 3 matches, 2 of them at home, and the 1 on the road. Although I'm not going to overlook that the match this coming Wednesday in El Paso, obviously El Paso, bottom of the table in the West, but if we all recall, going back a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, they beat us at home. So it's not going to be something that's maybe easy. My hope is the team has that match circled on the calendar and they're ready to just go take care of business. They're not going to go and, play, some kids game with El Paso and just think that they're going to automatically get the victory. I think they probably have this one circled in as we got to go and just take care of business, get the 3 points, come home. Larry, let's sort of move on to this next match, an important match. 3 matches, important to get a victory on the road here in El Paso. I would assume I'm just going to put words in everyone's mouth here. It's 3 points is a must in this match against El Paso on the road. Do you agree with me with that, Larry?
Yeah, I absolutely do. But again, when we played them a couple of months ago, we were in a situation where it should have been an automatic 3 points, and instead we lost 1-0 at home. The team cannot have a letdown. In any of these last 3 games, there cannot be a letdown. But most importantly, in this one, there cannot be a letdown. Because then we have to come back, we turn right back around, and we've got New Mexico coming to town on a Saturday. And that is, of course, going to be a very tough challenge because New Mexico is a very good team. Number 1 team in the West. They've already clinched home field advantage for the playoffs. So they've got that going for them. But the team has got to go out and play exactly like they have been playing. 1-0, 2-0, don't care. As long as we end up with 3 points. But I do feel like this is a 3 points must, because then we could afford to have a little bit of a letdown on Saturday against New Mexico. But you want to have in a must-win situation like against a team like El Paso that is not a strong team. You want to go ahead and secure that 3 points so that when you go up against a much harder team on Saturday, if you don't play your best, then it's okay if you don't play your best in that one. But we got to play our best on Wednesday night and come out of there with 3 points.
And the beautiful thing, like we were talking about there, is Orange County's in control of their destiny. They're currently sitting 8th in the West, but they have a match in hand. So while most of the other teams around them only have 2 matches left in the season, Orange County has 3. So there's the benefit of that. And I believe they own the tiebreakers against some of the opponents that are nearby. So that may be a benefit for Orange County. Brad, what is Orange County? What do you want to see from Orange County heading out to El Paso? Who do you want to see to step up for this match for the team?
I mean, I'd like to see the defense continue. I'd like to see Kevin Partida, our guest tonight, continue kind of being the anchor in the midfield that we need him to be, working alongside Kisipley with Scott out for the foreseeable future. Hopefully he's back soon. Look, with this game, El Paso, their fate is sealed. They can get out of the bottom, but they can't get into the playoffs. You would hope that might play a factor for them into who they play this weekend or on Wednesday in their roster. I'm not convinced that might be the case. However, we need to score, and here's my Madden analysis, 1 more goal than the opponent does. Because we haven't had pretty games recently. We're finally getting some of these, lucky rolls that we've complained about so much in the past. We're finally starting to get a little of that luck back and in the right time of the year. But we need to get these leads early and hold them, clutch them like nothing else in the world.
Top-notch analysis there from Brad with we need to score more goals than them to get the win there. Dylan, if this match is anything other than 3 points for Orange County, is there any situation where you're not disappointed?
Yeah, the situation in which we still control our fate. Look, a month and a half ago, we called it, and our writers wrote, it's playoff time. You've said it pretty much every week. It's playoff time, and the team is playing like it. So as long as we don't have to hope that another team does something or doesn't do something for us to get into the conversation in 3 match weeks, that's all that matters.
I'll be honest. I haven't checked anything about El Paso recently. I haven't watched any of their matches. I'm going to open it up. If any of you have any thoughts on El Paso, or what maybe we should worry about or watch out from El Paso, I'll open it up to anyone that wants to share. But obviously, I'm going to take the backseat on this because I don't really know much. But I know sometimes Dylan and Brad know stuff about other teams.
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a mixed bag. I mean, they drew 1-1 with Colorado Springs a couple weeks ago. They managed to beat Tulsa. And then, San Antonio felt like drawing against them. And I think, if I remember this one correctly, they kind of threw that one away at the end.
Mhm.
So mixed bag. Definitely, I think a match that teams have to be wary against complacency. And that being said, and as we've said, Orange County doesn't have that luxury. So show up, do what you can. Hopefully come away with a win. I mean, it's a far cry from the days of old where you just kind of put it over the top and run it behind. But Orange County has shown that they can both do that and also be patient depending on what the match needs at that given moment.
And I know Brad,
it looks like
jump in with something.
Go ahead, Larry.
I was going to say El Paso's only lost one of their last 6. So, which is exact same boat we're in. I think they had 2 wins and 3 ties, though, as opposed to our 3 wins and 2 ties and 1 loss. So, I mean, they're not playing bad football right now. So good for them. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be way too late as they've been eliminated from the playoffs. But again, no letdown this week from the boys, and we should be sitting pretty and smiling on Saturday when we come back to the champ.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and quickly just jump in. Dylan nailed the head on the nail there with El Paso coming back. They were down 2-0 and scored an 83rd and a 90th minute goal.
Nailed the head on the nail.
Yeah, we've been trampling over our lines today. Other than that, a 1-0 win against Tulsa and a 1-0 win against North Carolina. Those two are very beatable teams. And look, they're eliminated. I'm assuming they're going to play some kids. I'm hoping they're going to play some kids. Nothing could go better in my mind.
So the one concern for me against El Paso midweek in El Paso is El Paso is not an easy place to travel to from a road team standpoint. I would almost assume, and if someone is a frequent traveler that knows better than me, I'm going to assume there's not a direct flight from Orange County to El Paso. So there's going to be some sort of layovers. What's up, Larry?
There's a direct flight to El Paso.
There is. Okay. I was wrong then. Maybe there is. I would assume that there may be some difficulty in the travel, and there's also weather. It's going to be mid to low 70s at kickoff, which is not bad, but you never know. It looks like there may be some winds in El Paso on Wednesday as well. So the difficulty of going on the road, the travel involved, and the conditions with weather and stuff like that may come into play, but hopefully it's not a major factor. I think Orange County definitely needs to come out and dominate this match. This is one match where I would say they need to score early, and just not concede, obviously, right? So I'm going with Brad's analysis there, right? I just flipped the order around on that. But you know me, typically I'm just don't score. I mean, just don't concede and we have a chance. This is me saying, no, we need to score. We need to basically just knock them out in the first 20, 25 minutes of this match and then just, hold on for the rest of the match, but not park the bus and then end up conceding goals at that point.
I mean, do you want to just preemptively throw out the elevation excuse, even though that doesn't really matter? I mean, do we want to pull all the excuses out of the box? You seem very.
If you wanted, Dylan, go for it. Go for it.
No, I feel like we should be a little more excited about this match. Wary is allowed, but we also are a good team at this point. We picked a good time to be a good team. So let me lead us off. I say 2-0 Orange County.
All right, Larry.
I think I'm going to go with 1-0 Orange County.
Brad.
I'm going to go 2-0 Orange County as well.
I have faith in this Danny Stone defense. I'm definitely going to go the nil for El Paso. I'm going to go 3-0 Orange County on this match. I'm hoping there's a nice little breakout here from some of the players on the road against a team that you are supposed to win. And that's not something maybe we could supposed to beat. Is that better, Dylan? With your ugly face.
Oh, thank you.
Following that match, we have a weekend match, so it'll be a short turnaround for Orange County. Luckily, that turnaround is back home against New Mexico, who is sitting towards the top of the table, but they've already clinched their position or their spot in their ticket into the playoffs, and possibly even, it looks like they've even guaranteed their position, I believe. I don't think there's any chance for anyone to surpass them at the top of the table in the West. So chances are potentially, especially with New Mexico traveling, maybe they don't come full strength in this match as they're preparing for the playoffs, but who knows? What do you think, Dylan? Are we expecting the best from New Mexico, or do you anticipate a mixture of good and maybe some bench players getting some time just to allow the big minute getters a chance to rest before playoffs? What do you think, Dylan?
I don't think you run the risk of just doing anything. I think if you have a player who's questionable, you don't play them in that situation. But you keep your team running, you keep your team gelled, and you keep them going. I do want to wish the best to Arturo Astorga, who seemed to blow his leg up on Saturday night. So he will obviously be a really big miss for them. But we've seen this galvanize teams in the past. And if we look even at this year, we probably all thought that when we played New Mexico in New Mexico, that it was going to be 10, 15, 40-0 because we couldn't do anything right, because we're the worst team ever or something. And we actually didn't do all that poorly. They have very little to play for. Yes, Orange County is everything to play for. And why not see how we fare? We did all right against Vegas. Why not see how we fare against another top level club here in the West?
Larry, what do you need to see from Orange County this match? Obviously, there's a lot more at stake for Orange County than for New Mexico. What are you anticipating from the Orange County side?
I'm expecting our boys to come out very, very strong and very aggressive. Talking about last 6 games again, New Mexico, if I have it right, 1 win, 3 losses, 2 ties in their last 6. So they are not playing in playoff form. Now, the good and the bad of that, they're not playing their top football right now. So their head coach has the challenge of, do I go out there and try to get my boys back in form because I'm only 3 weeks away from the playoffs? Let's get all the starters. Let's get all 11 out there firing on everybody on the same page, all pistons going. Or do I sit back and just say, hey, we've got the number 1 seed. Everybody's got to come to us. That's a tough question. I wouldn't want to be a manager in that particular situation. Orange County needs to come out and just keep doing what they've been doing defensively. I will take a defensive 1-0 game all day, every day, as long as the 1-0 is in our favor. Marcus, Dylan, Owen, Ryan back there on that back line with Kevin sinking in there. We get those 5 firing, and we have one of the top 3 goalies in the entire league. That's a fact. Say what you want. Say he has bad games. Colin Shuttler is incredibly talented. That's why he has the best chance of any goalkeeper in all of the USL Championship. There's a reason for these things. So the boys just got to keep coming out and doing what they're doing. Solid defense, aggressive up front with the ball. Find Zubak's head because, man, that dude can jump. Have you seen how high that guy's vertical is? It's ridiculous. So I think if they do that, keep doing what they're doing, just play like they've been playing, play in control, stay patient, wait for the opportunities. I think they do that. I think we come out successful on Saturday night.
What do you think, Brad, as far as the idea from New Mexico coming to this match? Do you anticipate them to be playing full strength? Do you anticipate them to maybe rest? And I'll ask you to be really brief on this one.
Yeah, I bet you they're going to be about 50-50. They'll probably play a couple of their starters the full match. They'll probably sub out a couple guys early. I doubt they'll rest everybody and just go full play the kids. They do need to stay in shape for postseason, although they don't want to risk any more injuries like Astorga, because that was nasty. And, big respect out to him. On our side, I'd hopefully like to see us play very aggressive. We seem to be keeping our heads a lot cooler than in previous seasons and flustering our opponents into getting red cards all of a sudden. And plus, with a lot of our players, Kevin Partida, Kyle Scott, they thrive in these like really, 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 scrappy situations. So
awesome. I know y'all are dying to get our score predictions for this match, but we're going to hold off on that because we do have an important guest waiting in the background, and I want to respect their time. So I'm going to welcome on our guest here, a midfielder for your Orange County Soccer Club, Kevin Partida. Kevin, welcome.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us. I know you're living the life as a father outside of soccer, so I know it's very special to get some time with you on this. Let me ask you this, and I don't mean to skip ahead 2 matches, right? We got El Paso on Wednesday, but in the home match against New Mexico, I'm anticipating that that's going to be a big match for the team. We need to get victories in all our matches. How important is the support from the fans going to be in that match on Saturday against or this weekend against New Mexico?
Nah, I mean huge. I think especially if those that follow the team closely and for a few years now, they'll understand the situation and see that we're playing a team that's at the top of the West, and at this time of the season where we're fighting to gain as many points as possible. I think it goes unsaid that it's going to be a huge match, and I mean, I personally as a fan, I would be really excited to. I would be really looking forward to a match like that, and I mean, I think we've made it clear that the support from the fans is huge, especially, we state it, to be honest, because we appreciate it so much, but you can see it in the latest results where, in the last 5 we've won our home matches and been able to draw away, but at home we've been able to get all 3.
You brought up the recent results. Let me just ask you a little bit about these recent results, because I believe if you look at the last 5-6 matches, Orange County is probably playing the best soccer as a team as they've played all season. And I look at it like that because we're not conceding goals, which is amazing. I know some people want the team to be scoring more, but I'm of the mindset, hey, let's just not give up goals, and that's going to lead to results, more than likely victories for us. What do you attribute the great form of the team over the last month and a half? Where's that coming from?
I mean, obviously, it was said a lot during the middle of the season and during those periods where we maybe were struggling to get points, that we were dealing with a lot of injuries, and we've obviously been hit a little bit with that again, with Thomas not being fully fit yet, and now Kyle picking up a little thing in his back. But I think a lot of guys getting healthier definitely helped. Dylan coming back and all that. And I mean, luckily, a lot of guys are so good about the experience and even not so experienced guys about understanding the situation. In the last 2 years that I've been here, it takes a lot. It's different to have a mindset where you step up a little more in the moments and in the matches that matter, and you kind of have that little ego and that chip on your shoulder, and understand that, listen, I need to get a job done today, and this is a situation where I'm gonna thrive, instead of the opposite, which happens fairly often in football, where it's, oh man, like we're not doing well, oh, this doesn't matter anymore, or those kinds of things. And so I think maybe a little bit of the pressure helped.
Let me ask you this, because you dealt with some injuries this season, and obviously those took part where I think the team was struggling a little bit there. How difficult was it for you to be sitting on the sidelines while your team is struggling on the pitch? Like, is there any part of you that is like, I'll wrap this up and I just want to get out there and help the team because we're struggling so much? Like, how hard is it for a professional athlete like yourself to sit on the sidelines while your team is having difficulty for a stretch?
Yeah, everybody deals with it differently. I've had enough injuries in my career to where I hope I don't ever have one again, but they've all been fairly long term. And I think at first it's kind of like, what, I'm just gonna put my nose down and work hard to rehab, and you're okay for the first couple of weeks, but then you start to get tired of just being on the sideline, especially once you're on in that kind of middle ground where you start to feel pretty good, but um, you know what's the word, like statistically or really on the sports science side, you probably shouldn't be back yet. And yeah, it just gets harder and harder as the weeks go by, really. But I'll tell you one thing that really helps is, when you're in the stadium and you're not in the match, sometimes you can take it for granted, when you are available week in, week out. But being in the stadium and feeling how important our performances are for the fans, and how much they not only care but support, and I don't know, that feeling of just seeing everybody really into the game. It definitely helps when you are able to get back on the pitch.
Hey, Kevin, awesome to have you here, man. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Now, I know at the end of your first season with the team, you had baby number one. Look at that smile. I love that. Now, going into the next season number 2, last year with us, you came back and you were playing exponentially better than what you played in the previous season. And you and I had this discussion earlier.
I think I see where this is going.
No, I'm not going to quite go there. This season, at the start of this season, when we kicked off, you were playing absolutely brilliant for every minute that you were on the pitch. I mean, you played great for the team last year, and you were even better this year. A lot more maturity, a lot more level-headedness. Yeah, you still get your yellow card. That's your gig. That's cool. We get it. What do you attribute that to? Is it becoming a family man, having a son, a little bit more maturity? Is the wife slapping you in the back of the head? Talk to us a little bit about that.
It's probably a lot of things. I'm naturally pretty introspective, so I have these thoughts myself. And in football, it's just a little bit. There's so much that plays into it. The support from a coach, which played a huge part for me with last year. It's always gonna play a huge part. When I was in Reno, I really felt really supported as well by the coach there, and everyone's a little bit different. I just think that really helped. And then someone who really, I think I do tend to, especially as my career has gone on over the years, it turned into more of a defensive midfielder, where I'm doing a lot of the dirty work, that, as people say, and not everyone really appreciates, I guess, or it's not so much about appreciation, but more so understanding how crucial it is to the game. You can obviously, on the other end, I love attacking players, because I feel like if they're so good enough to be able to create and score goals, like, I can just focus on defending, because the final pass or finishing is not my strongest suit. So I really value those kinds of players. But yeah, I would say, just tying it all together, it's a lot of things. Definitely experience, being a little bit more grounded, understanding there's bigger things than football, really, and then that kind of helps you be a little bit more free. And then I'm not stressed about football all day, every day, because it's the only thing on my mind anymore. I'm focused on being a dad when I'm not in the stadium or in training, and being able to take my mind off the game for a little bit also helps. And yeah, a lot of things, but those two are probably some that come off to the top of my head.
And the baby boy number 1, Thiago. Have you got him started training yet, or are we working on that? We're working on left foot, right foot, attacking, winger. What are we doing here, Kev?
Yeah. My wife is actually left-footed, and Thiago is left-footed. I can tell already. So he really likes it. If there's a ball around, he's kicking it now. And I mean, I'm gonna try not to force it on him, but I mean, it's natural. I think he's already getting a feel for it.
Well, he spends a lot of time around a lot of soccer players.
Yeah.
It's really cool how you go over to the sideline every game and you grab him up from Mona and you take him out with the players. And you can see, I mean, I see Marcus's face light up. I see Owen's face. Everybody loves this boy. So you got one here. You got number 2 coming up very soon. Have you all picked a name yet?
We actually haven't, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of happened last time. kind of cut it close, but I'm sure we'll narrow it down now as by the end of the month.
Don't doubt it at all, Kev. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Appreciate you.
All right, Kevin, we've got two big important games coming up this week against the bottom and top of the table. Obviously, I know you guys are planning for Wednesday first, so I'll start with that one. What are some notes that you guys have on El Paso? I know you guys have some connections with Tony Alfaro and Eric Calvillo out there, but what does the team need to do to get 3 points in El Paso this week?
Yeah, I think number one is not look past them. I think it's like you said, it's easy to say, it's the top of the table and then the bottom of the table, and maybe look further ahead to New Mexico. But the reality is that they had a coaching change mid-year, and they're not the same team that they were maybe during the worst of that run. And they're playing well. We all know how much of a difference it is playing at home and playing away. If we were hosting them, maybe we'd be you know thinking it would be a little bit easier, but going away anywhere is tough in this league. And so yeah, just like I said, not looking past them and understanding. I mean, they have they have an identity that they've had since the team started, where they're very possession based. So we know that can always cause some issues. And yeah, I mean, just understanding the situation and being as effective as possible.
Awesome. What about, I'll just flip it over. What about New Mexico? Obviously, we're not focused on that yet, but it's got to be in the back of the minds.
Very little. On a personal note, I'll say very little right now, just because I mean, every game has been so important. Which again, I love this time of the season. It's just so important, especially in the situation that we're in. So, 100% of the focus has been on El Paso and keeping in mind, their tendencies and New Mexico. I mean, yeah, I think once we get a little bit of a better picture of them on Thursday, the focus will switch. But I mean, just the fact that we're at home for that game is already, a little bit of a confidence booster, because as we've seen, we've done pretty well at home in the last couple of weeks.
Awesome. I got two more quick rapid fire ones. What's the mood in the locker room look like? Given it's a tense period, every game's really important right now, but I know a lot of you guys are goofballs in there, so just give us a little peek in.
Yeah, probably a little bit, like I said earlier, about guys understanding the situation. So when we're on the pitch, really, really focused and taking every bit of information in that we can, so that we can gain some advantages on Wednesday for this week, for example, but on the day of the game. And in the locker room, I mean, just pretty normal. I mean, the results lately have always obviously helped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, to me it seems normal. So it seems like there's not much to report on that end. But yeah, nothing new really.
All right, and then last one, obviously, I'm going to ask this: Reno Tahoe or OCLA?
Man, I like. That's a tough one, because I think a year ago or two I would say OC, not LA, just OC. But having been gone now for 4-ish years and getting to go home and see family lately, I'm starting to miss it a little more. So I'll just call it a tie.
Very diplomatic.
Smart man, Kevin. You missed 18 whole matches this year before coming back under Danny Stone. Just how hard is it to miss out for that long, especially while the team's not doing well?
I mean, obviously hard. I think, like I said at the beginning, you're just focused on maybe you're even, especially in my situation, it wasn't necessarily a black and white injury where it's, hey, this happened and you're gonna do this and you'll be back in this amount of time. It's kind of been an up and down thing. And so at first, kind of thinking you're just gonna beat it and be back in a couple of weeks, and as it extends, definitely frustration and those kinds of things, especially with the results. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I've obviously now playing again, so maybe I've moved past it a little bit. But if I think back to those couple of months where I wasn't playing and I was watching, either in the stadium or watching the game on TV, it was definitely a rough time. Both both that weekend and watching the game and whatever, both before and after, and the Monday coming in and knowing that I wasn't necessarily going to be able to play a part in the next game either, and counting down the days and all of that.
Okay, given that, since you've returned 6 straight appearances, what are your goals for this season since you've come back?
I mean, just picking up points. Really, I think I try to do as much as possible to help the team. I guess, as I mentioned before, I've kind of fallen into, over the last couple of years, into that role of a pretty solid defensive midfielder. So, hoping that the guys up front are able to generate opportunities and score goals, and especially if they're able to get one, for example, against Phoenix or things like that, I really try to lock down and focus in and say, if we get a shutout, this is 3 points for us. So, obviously the goal was when I was able to be available again was simply to make the playoffs, and that's not something that's been clinched yet. So, it remains the goal.
We love it. That's pretty much it about Kevin Partida, the midfielder. But we do have some questions about Kevin Partida, the man, and Kevin Partida, the person. Actually, the first one is about your son, Thiago. One of our fans wants to know, was he named after Thiago Alcantara?
On my end, yes. On my wife's end, she'll claim he was named after Thiago Silva.
I love it. Okay, well, I think regardless, if he starts kicking a ball a little bit more professionally, he's going to be just fine with that. Kevin, what's your earliest soccer memory?
I'll say just those years before. Actually, maybe my earliest soccer memory. Well, obviously, I was just kicking the ball around because I had an older brother and a dad that played the game, so I was there. I think that's just how you get into the game and start to immerse yourself, without even knowing it, is being at their practices and their games. And that was just kind of what our childhood revolved around, was to, especially once we got a little older and my younger brother was playing as well, it was 3 or 4 practices a week, not necessarily in every session, but you're still at the park every 3 or 4 days a week, and then on Saturdays you're at 3 different games a week. So probably those. And then my first probably official memory was I was probably 6 when my dad took me around the park. Reno's pretty small, so it's a pretty small soccer community. There's a big park where I think everybody grew up playing, and a lot of teams use that same park to train. And my dad took me around the park asking a bunch of different coaches if they had any space for me on their team for this upcoming season. I was 6, and I think the youngest age group was U8. And I mean, I'm already small even for my age now. So back then I was even smaller, and it's just I think the amount of no's that I got that year, and then my dad and a family friend decided to just start a team up themselves, and that was how I was able to start playing organized soccer for my first team.
I really love that. Looking forward to now. Do you have a nickname amongst the teammates?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They call me Papi. I don't know how it started. I think Kyle just comes out a lot as I'm talking to people, and Kyle just started repeating it back to me, and I don't know, these guys just started saying it back.
I truly love that. I think everybody else does. Kevin, we ask this question to basically everybody that comes on. Who has the worst taste in the locker room in terms of music?
I don't know about taste, because not everybody is willing to get on the aux cord, but I know Seth probably hates me at this point, because I'll mention him probably every single time somebody asks, but he's on the aux fairly often, and it's not like he puts so much effort into it and just picks bad music. He just kind of will just play whatever playlist is on there, but sometimes it ends up being a little bit not it. So Seth won't mind me saying that it's him again.
He's very used to it. Kevin, I have one last one before handing off to Ray. What's your favorite vegetable and how do you prepare it?
Oh, sorry. I think it. Favorite vegetable. I'm really into broccolini lately. Not that I eat it a lot, but I had it at a restaurant a few months ago, and I just thought it was really good. But besides that, I've always eaten a lot of mushrooms, which is pretty simple. I mean, you just kind of saute them a little bit. Nothing too spectacular. Not a big vegetable guy, to be honest.
Hey, that's awesome.
What are your favorite vegetables? Who has a favorite vegetable?
What's a vegetable?
Dylan does.
Yeah, I think they're all going to select me. Probably cauliflower.
Oh, man, that's not a good one.
Thank you. I will. I'll take that.
Before we let you go, Kevin, I'm going to do this. We've done this the last few weeks with the players. 10 quick this or that questions. You give your first answer. You can give. The theme for this one is going to be vacation spots. So
right.
Here we go. Ready? Beach or mountains?
Tie.
Oh, city or countryside?
I'll say, as I'm getting older, I kind of want to go out to the countryside, but I've always been more city.
Tropical or snowy?
Tropical.
Historical city or nature?
Man, these are good. Historical city or nature? Nature.
Getting an assist there, it sounds like. Something adventurous or more relaxing?
Relaxing.
Europe or Asia?
Europe.
North or South America?
South.
Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
All right. Africa or Antarctica?
Africa.
Cruise or a road trip?
I've never been on a cruise, but so road trip, I guess.
And then the last thing I'm going to ask you right here. Favorite English soccer team out of these four? Tottenham, Sunderland, Luton Town, or Everton?
Tottenham.
Yes. I get a victory, gentlemen. Kevin, any last messages that you want to share with the fans heading into the final matches of the season and hopefully a nice playoff run?
Just that I really appreciate their support, not just me, obviously the boys, but on a personal note, like I said, I was in the stands for a fair amount of time in the middle of the season, and just seeing how much they give to us and how much they care, and you know how much, especially during that tough time, and how much everybody's there week in and week out. It's really special to see, and to, like I said before, sometimes as a player you might take it for granted if you're available week in, week out, and kind of you start to, I guess we're a little selfish in that sense, and that we think all that matters is how we're doing and things like that. But really, it's, again, when you're out, you see how important the fans are and how much you're playing for more than just yourself. So just really want to appreciate the support, and hope we can give you guys the end you guys deserve here in the next coming weeks and in the playoffs.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight for this episode. Fellow everyone, Kevin Partida, midfielder for your Orange County Soccer Club. Thank you for taking some time to speak with us, Kevin.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Awesome. There we go. Kevin Partida with some great answers to some great questions, even if some of them sounded similar. We like to ask questions, and Kevin was very willing to participate, and we appreciate his time on that. Getting back to where we were before Kevin joined the show, we got to do our score predictions for the upcoming match this weekend against New Mexico United. And I will go first for this one. This one I'm going to look at as a 0-0 draw. Brad, for you.
I'm going to say it's a scrappy 1-0 win.
All right, Larry.
1-1.
Dylan.
1-1.
Ye
Awesome.
who have little faith.
So Brad is the only one that thinks we will get 3 points in that match. But yes, perfect.
And if Brad is right, next Monday night, we will all say, all hail Brad. And
no, we won't say that. We'll just say, man, that was sweet. And we'll have a really great episode talking about what a great win we had.
Absolutely. That too.
There we go. what do we have? Anyone have any other stuff they want to talk about Orange County soccer wise before we wrap things up? All right, here we go. What did we learn on this episode? I will go to Larry first. What did you learn in this episode?
I didn't learn anything this episode, but I learned that if you post a video of Ray dancing on the OCSC Soccercast Instagram page, dancing next to my wife, by the way, it gets a crap ton of views. Go figure.
Apparently people like dancing. I mean, isn't that sort of what social media is? You do these dances and stuff like that on social media. And for those that don't follow our social media, our producer Andy snuck a camera or a phone up to the dance floor, I believe, and got a video of me dancing. And I didn't know he was doing that. So thus my appearance on social media.
If you're not following our social media, why not?
Perfect time to do so.
Go follow.
Perfect opportunity.
And you can see the dancing that Larry was talking about. Go, Dylan. What were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's exactly it. You can watch Ray dance. I will just say while I have the mic, apparently I learned that apparently Kevin Partida is known as Poppy on the team. So,
hi, Poppy.
Thanks, Larry. No one needed that.
Now Brad's
Butterfast out.
Brad. Oh my gosh.
Butterfast out.
This is going to be the most mundane answer after what I just heard, but I learned that Dylan's favorite vegetable is cauliflower, and we need to answer these questions out of our own in the off season.
I guess we should actually answer these questions at some point. Maybe we'll do a whole episode of vegetables by Orange and Black Soccer Cast. What did I learn in this episode? I don't really know I don't know if I learned anything, but that seems normal for me. But I will say I learned that, I guess I wasn't prepared for it. Orange County plays 2 matches before our next show. So I sort of was straggling and talking about the road match in El Paso, forgetting about New Mexico. Thus, we didn't have much time to talk about New Mexico. So I apologize for that. But yeah. Well, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get things wrapped up here, I think. Any last thoughts heading into the next 2 matches or even the final, matches of the season, Dylan?
Again, I mentioned this earlier. There was a point where it probably felt like we were never going to score. And we were saying things like, you have to score to win. And look at us now. I mean,
we're saying the same thing.
But yeah, we're saying the same thing. But now it doesn't feel as dire as it did. We know we have to score. We are scoring. We are putting out good results. Mixed bag of performances, but the ultimate thing is good results. I will harken back to 2021 for the billionth time this season. We were horrible. We went on a good run. We were difficult to beat home or away. You just have to play 90, 95, 120 minutes, and then Colin Shuttler can have his own Patrick Krakowski moment if he so chooses. And you know what? This team does best.
Why?
And why?
Sorry.
I don't.
No, I was going to say, why were we difficult to beat in that run in the playoffs?
Because we didn't concede. Because we were very defensive minded. But look, this team has historically done best when everyone's written them off. Everyone except for ideally the people listening to the show, ideally the people that show up every Saturday and every Wednesday. That's all that it takes and you heard it from Kevin Partida. We've heard it from players all season long. We've heard it from the coaching staff. We've heard it from the club staff, the technical staff, the president of the club. Show up, get behind the team, and hey, maybe we end up with a second star at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this stretch run, final 3 matches of the season, playoffs. I think this team is looking like they are primed and ready for a strong run this season. And we've talked about it before. This team's got a very dangerous roster for the playoffs. Well, that's going to wrap things up, folks. Remember to like, subscribe, share. This is talking about social media or the podcast or however you listen to us. Make sure you do that. Also, if you are a local business that wants to collaborate with us, please let us know. Reach out to us, info@ocscpodcast.com. Let us talk about how we can help your business and how your business can help us in a collaboration effort. For my co-hosts, Larry, Brad, Dylan, producer Andy, and our guest Kevin on this episode, Kevin Partida from Orange County Soccer Club. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.